In this lesson, I want to do a quick introduction of the DOM, how we can see the DOM, what it is, and how we can begin to interact with the DOM. So what the DOM is, it's short for Document Object Model, and this is an object model that's based on all of the HTML elements. So over here on the left-hand side, I've got my editor open, and I've just got a really basic web page with several elements here. So I've got some HTML divs, I've got some text within here, and so on. And so all of this information, when the browser sees and interprets, renders out that HTML code, it actually creates document objects within JavaScript. So these are accessible via JavaScript. So essentially, what the top level of the DOM is, this is going to be the window object. And we're going to be showing you through the next few lessons also some built-in functionality that's already available within the window object. So in order to actually access and see what's contained within the DOM, we can output it within our JavaScript. Now, when it comes to JavaScript, we have several options of where we can place our script tags. So we can place our script tags, so sometimes you might see script tags here at the top, and sometimes you might see script tags here at the bottom. And when it comes to the DOM, this actually matters where you're placing the script tags. Because we want to make sure that this content is accessible before we try to access it. And what that just essentially means is, because the browser is actually, when it's rendering out that HTML code, it's also building out that DOM, and until all of the HTML code is rendered out, we actually don't have the full contents of the DOM. So we do have things by like default, so we do have the window object. So I can see that when I do console directory, and if I list out window, and if I do console directory again, and this time I'm going to list out document, and what this is going to do is this is going to give me an item within my console log that I can open up and I can click through, and I can actually see all of the different pieces of the DOM. So we've got the window up here, and we see we've got a lot of different functions that are available by default within this window. And then of course all of these are accessible via JavaScript. And as we work through the next set of lessons, I'm going to show you this in a lot more detail. And as you can see, there really is a lot of information here, and there's a lot of stuff that's contained. So we're going to be working with alerts, and we're going to be working with prompts, and these are built-in functions. So all we have to do is call to them with the window object, and then we get access, and that runs the functionality that's contained within there. So this was just the Windows object, and now we've got the document object, and we see that we've got a lot of information contained in there. So this actually, because we've loaded it here in the top, we're not actually getting access to all of the body content. And I do have script tags in the bottom, so I'm going to quickly show you what happens when I load the document in the bottom as well. So we're just going to reload this page and see that now we're producing the window, the document, and we're also producing a second document down here. And the difference here is that we also have the body, because at this point, once we're putting the script down here, we did have an opportunity to load the body contents within the document as well, and we can see some of that information that's contained within the body. So we've got the first child there, and so on. We've got all the different nodes, which again we're going to be looking through in more detail. So this was in order to just demonstrate why we need to place the DOM at either the bottom and let all of the body contents load, or we can initiate a function call. So we can add something called an event listener, which of course we're going to talk about in later lessons as well. And if we add in an event listener here, so maybe we'll just add it in here at the top. So I'm going to do window, and of course we are going to get into more detail about event listeners as we progress through the next set of lessons. So what we're doing is we're just going to simply listen for the window to load, and once it loads, then we're going to run the function. And basically what this is going to do is this is going to give us the ability to load the body contents as well. So I'll show you what happens now when I go out and if I refresh it, and we'll see within here, so now we did have the ability to load the body and all of the body contents because we did add in this event listener, and this actually gave us the ability to see the contents of the body. So basically what happened here, as the browser ran through the code, it hit the script tag, it added in this event listener, which essentially is a trigger that's waiting for something to happen, and what it's doing is waiting for the window to load, and once the window finishes loading, then we know that we do have access to the document as well, and once that event listener fires off, then we're able to run through the functionality. But through the most of the course, so this is just one way of accessing the DOM information when you place the code at the top of your web page. And of course, there are different scenarios when you are developing. So there are cases where you might want to place it at the top. And if you have a lot of HTML page content such as images loading in, then you might want to place it at the top. But more than likely, and best practice is usually to place those script tags at the bottom, and especially when you're interacting with DOM content, that you do want it all to load into the page. So now that we've gone through all of that with the DOM, we're ready to start working with it. So in the next few lessons, I'm going to be showing you how to work with the DOM and create dynamic, interactive content within your web page using JavaScript, accessing the DOM and manipulating the DOM. So all of that is coming up in the next set of lessons.